Today we're going to make a wire wrapped tree. I've zhuzhed mine up with some fairy lights, and I've also got another tutorial for a similar tree with wire, so you can check that out as well. I've got some driftwood that I found on the beach the other day, so I'm going to use that for the base. So I've got two lengths that are about the same size, and I'm going to just put them together in a way that they've got a nice strong base. Obviously you can't get 4 points on the table at the same time, so 3 points is a nice strong base. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue in between those two bits of driftwood to hold them together nice and strong. You could also use like a large crystal or rock or something like that. It just needs a nice strong heavy base or solid base. The driftwood is not that heavy, but it provides a nice strong base. Now we're using for this tutorial 16 gauge wire, so we need quite a lot of lengths of it as well. So I've started out with 5 lengths of 24 inches, just so I've got a few longer ones in there if we need it to make the tree look symmetrical or make it look good. And 15 lengths of 20 inches. So I cut all those lengths out before we start. These trees are actually quite easy to add more wire onto later if you like. So sometimes I'll do a tree and it just doesn't look full enough, like there's not enough branches on it. So I'll just add some more wire onto it later. So I'll show you how to do that as well. But there really is no set design for these trees, so you can do them exactly how you like and just follow your creativity. My base should be nice and strong now. I've got the glue in 2 points there and it should be dry, so we're ready to go. And we've got all our lengths of wire, so we can move on to constructing the tree. Now we need to bring all the pieces of wire together and have them sitting at one end all together. Obviously you're going to have a few longer bits there just for the longer branches, but on the one end we need all the ends together. So we're going to leave this first section here, and then we're going to twist this second section and then leave the last section there. So this part here is the part that we're going to twist, leaving about 10 centimeters here on the end. So this one here is about 20 centimeters worth, and then we'll leave that 20 centimeters on the end. So you just want your wires to sort of be nice and straight. I've put some paper towel and wrapped it around my pliers just so I'm not going to damage my wires. So just grabbing the wires there around that 20 centimeter mark and around the 10 centimeter mark as well, so we can leave that end not being twisted. And so you're just gently twisting the wires all around each other. So you want to get a nice strong grip so that you can twist them all nicely around each other. And I'll just twist it down a little bit further. You can do it with your hands if you've got the strength. I just find it's easier to twist them all together with the pliers, but you can do a bit with your hands as well. Once you've got it twisted down far enough, we're going to pop it onto our base. So obviously it's different depending on what sort of base you're popping it on. With my driftwood piece, it's got sort of 4 sections that I'm going to be able to wrap around, those 4 there. So I'm going to divide my wires into 4 parts so that I can wrap it around my base. Try and get them even, but you can move them after as well. Just into the 4 lots, and then I'm going to space them out on top of the driftwood, and when I turn it upside down I'm going to be able to bring 2 opposite pieces of wire around. Just sort of placing it on there, holding it on, making sure it's going to sit nicely where you've got it. And then you can start by bringing opposite wires together and twisting them. So I'm just doing a few loosely just to start to hold it on there. And then with my pliers I just grab the twist and twist it up nice and tight. You want all these to be actually securing your tree onto the wood. You've got a nice little spot underneath that join in the driftwood, which is going to hide your wires nicely. Just twisting these up nice and tight, and then you can cut them off, leaving a little bit of the twist there, so obviously it holds it in place, but these sort of sit underneath and are tucked out of the way. Just keep moving around all your wires, twisting them together and cutting the tails off until you have secured all of the wires onto your base. And you can see it's starting to hold that tree onto your base. So just keep twisting them all until you've got all of them done. Probably should have divided them up into being 5 on each side. You can see I've got a couple of extra on one side and then none coming out the other, but you can just work your wires and pull them around the other side. This is why I love working with wire, because you can just adjust it as you go. It's really easy to work with, so you just move them into the place where you want them. So I'll just bend this one down this one. This wire will sort of hold your driftwood in place if you didn't glue it as well, but I just find it so much easier to work with if it's already glued. And if you didn't have a glue gun, you could use wood glue as well, but then obviously you'd have to wait probably 24 hours for it to be dry. But you can just make it work with whatever you've got on hand. So all the wires are secured in place now, so we can start to work on the tree and the branches. So I start by working with my wires at the bottom of the straight part. And I just start by dividing my wires out into bunches. So I'm going to have 4 bunches of 3 coming out on the bottom layer. So I'm just searching for the ones that are the shorter ones, and I want the taller ones to be able to come through at the top. So these ones I'm working with now are just the 20-inch ones that we started with. And I'm just working with the wires to separate groups of 3 wires. So we've got the 4 groups of 3. They sort of get a little bit twisted and you can untangle them. Just separating those ones out. So we're going to have 4 groups of 3 coming around the bottom, and then the rest of these wires are just coming up straight. So that's sort of going to give some height and some strength in your tree there. I just twist that up a little bit so that can start and sort of get them out of the way. These other ones of 3, I'm just going to twist those out as well, and this just starts to form your branches. I sort of bring the 3 out twisted, and then I'll take 1 wire out and twist the other 2 wires around each other again as well, and then have a little bit of straight wire on the end. So this is totally up to you how you want your tree to look. You could twist them out and then bend the wire in zigzags, or you could make a loop on the end of your tree. It's totally up to you, and you can always change it again after as well. That's the joy of wire. Twisting all these branches out, and I'm doing the same on each one, twisting the 3 wires out and then taking 1 wire out and twisting 2 for a little bit. Then we just focus on this middle part again, so I'm just going to twist that up a little bit higher. Then we just do another layer of branches, so you can sort of see as you go how it looks. You can bring some branches off with 2 wires or with 3. Bringing 3 wires off and then splitting them into 2. You're just basically doing lots of twists and just making it up as you go. You can see that it's starting to form a nice tree shape. I want my tree to have a few more branches than this and be a bit thicker, so I'm going to add a few wires on. I just grab my wire now and measure out 10 more lengths of 20 inches. Just like we added the first round of wires, we just do the same thing with these ones here. So I just hold them underneath on 2 opposite sides of the driftwood and twist them together. I just do 2 at a time. Then with each wire, I just wrap it around the tree in a spiral, just along with all the other wires. You can see where they go, and then you can just bring it up to the part of the tree that you want the wire. So then with the second wire, just do the same, twisting it around. So you can sort of see where your tree needs some more fullness. So I can just bring the wires up to where I need them and then twist them around. The wires are really easy, really simple to add. When you've added all your wires and you're happy with the amount of branches that you have there, you can start to bend your tree into shape. So if you want it to sort of be straight up or sort of coming across or looking more like a bonsai, you can just really take your time now to work your wires into place and how you want them. They really are quite flexible, your wires, so you just work with them until you're happy with them. Add more if you like. And you can use your tree like a jewellery hanger or just a display piece. You can also go through after and sort of snip some of the ends off if they're too long. That's why you've got a few longer ones in there, just to make sure you can make it look how you want it to. This is actually a really cool project and it's not hard. It's just time consuming. It needs a bit of wire. but I was surprised. I had the whole tree and everything made in under an hour. And now you can take the time to just work with your tree and get all the branches looking how you like it. You can move them more downwards or upwards. You can hang things on it now or add fairy lights or whatever you want to do.